I don't even know where to begin. Sometimes, I wish I could rewind time not to fix anything, but just to walk away when I still had the chance. Because deep down, before I ever said yes, I already knew I was making a mistake. He wasn't the worst man. In fact, to outsiders, he was polite, respectful, soft-spoken. But in private, he was absent. Emotionally. Physically. Especially. Intimately. I'm not saying I was some raging fireball in bed, no. But I was warm enough to want connection, at least. Him. Cold. Awkward. Like sex was a burden. Or like I was. Still, I made excuses for him. Maybe he's being respectful because we're not married yet. Maybe it's the roommates. Maybe he's just shy. Maybe after the wedding. Maybe it became my lullaby. It rocked me to sleep while my gut screamed the truth. Then boom, pregnancy. I didn't plan it. It just happened. One missed period. One test. 1 second line that changed everything. He didn't even propose properly. There was no kneeling, no ring. Just, let's do the traditional wedding before your belly starts showing. And like a puppet on invisible strings, I agreed. Why? Because what would people say? Because my child needs a father. Because maybe marriage will bring us closer. Stupid, right? We rushed it all. The wine carrying, the introductions, the family talks. It was a blur. The white wedding. He promised we'd do it when he had money. I'm still waiting. We are still waiting. But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. Moving in with him was like stepping into a trap disguised as a home. Because I didn't just marry a man, I married his entire family. And it only got worse from there. How we rushed into a traditional marriage. His excuse for postponing the white wedding. And how I kept hoping. You know what hurts the most? It's not even the way things turned out. It's the way I knew yet still hoped he would prove me wrong. After the pregnancy, everything became fast forward. No more careful steps. No more waiting. His family was quick to gather. His mother was all fake smiles. His sisters looked at me like I'd trapped him. But I was the one trapped. In a promise I didn't even get to enjoy. We did the traditional marriage in a small, quiet way. No fanfare. No proper celebration. I didn't even get the chance to be excited about being a bride. No bridal shower. No white gown. Just a wrapper tied around my waist and elders drinking palm wine. I smiled through it all, because what else could I do? I kept asking him about the white wedding. Soon. Let me settle small. Money never dey now, babe. It's been 3 years. And still, no wedding. You know what's funny? He bought a new phone last year. His sister did a birthday photo shoot. His father suddenly needed a new generator for his room. But white wedding? Too expensive. I started noticing how he looked uncomfortable anytime I brought it up. He would either change the topic or pretend like I was being dramatic. What's the difference? We've already done traditional. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm the one holding on to silly dreams. But even if it's just a dress and a ring, I wanted it. I deserved it. Or don't I? Every woman wants to feel chosen. Not as a mother of someone's child, not as the girl who got pregnant. But as a wife. Cherished. Prevented. Celebrated. Instead, I feel like a secret. Like a shadow of what could have been. And the worst part. A part of me still hoped. Even when the truth was already screaming. His sister moved in. Then his father. I lost my privacy, peace, and power. All at once. It started slowly. At first, I didn't even realize I was being pushed out of my own life. After we moved into our apartment, I thought it would be our space. A fresh start. A place to figure things out as a new couple. But before I could even breathe, his sister came to visit. And she never left. She brought one box of clothes at first. Then another. Suddenly, my wardrobe space was halved. Then she started doing what she liked, dictating the kitchen, the TV, the fridge. I became a stranger in my own home. Her attitude was subtle but sharp. You know those ones who act like you're invisible but manage to insult you without ever raising their voice. I complained to him. He told me, just manage it for now. She's looking for work. 3 months later, guess who else joined? His father. No warning. Just came in with a bag and a permanent frown. And that's when my life changed. Or ended. I don't even know the difference anymore. His father wakes up daily with insults hanging from his lips like morning dew. Says I'm lazy. Says I bewitched his son. Says my family is cursed. He doesn't hide it. He insults me openly, even in front of my child. And guess who never says a word? My husband. He just folds his arms. Or pretends he didn't hear. Like his loyalty was never mine to begin with. Every corner of that house reminds me I don't belong. Not in the kitchen. Not in the bedroom. Not even in the bathroom, because his sister now uses my stuff and blames me for moving anything. I sleep with one eye open. I cry in the toilet with the shower running so nobody hears. And all he says is, "Don't cause problems. That's my family." But what about me? I'm your family too. Or aren't I? Marriage is supposed to be two people building a life. But I feel like a tenant in a noisy house where everyone owns a room except me. And the worst part? I don't even know how I got here. How his insults started. How I broke silently. How my husband pretended not to see. The first time he insulted me, I laughed. Not because it was funny. But because I thought I misheard him. Your people don't train their daughters well. That's what he said while I served him food. I thought. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he had a bad day. So I swallowed it. The second time, he said I was trying to poison him because his soup had too much pepper. That one didn't just sting, it shocked me. Because my husband was there. And he said nothing. He just stared at the plate. Didn't defend me. Didn't correct his father. Just sat there in silence. From then on, the insults got worse and louder. He called me lazy. Said my womb was cursed and I wouldn't give birth again. He said I was enjoying free marriage because his son hadn't paid full bride price. He even told my husband one night, right in front of me, "Send her back to her father's house if she cannot obey you." I stood there. Not one word from the man I called my husband. Not even a glance of support. That night, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried into my towel until my face burned. I beat it so I wouldn't scream. Because I knew no one would come looking for me. I started walking on eggshells. Every movement, every word, I checked myself like a criminal. I cooked. I cleaned. I served. I avoided eye contact. But nothing I did was ever good enough. He even started waking me up with his voice, yelling, murmuring, cussing. Every day. Morning greetings turned into mockery. Small talks turned into character assassination. The worst part. I started to believe him. Started to ask myself if maybe I was truly the problem. Because how could the man I married sit through all this and still be silent? The only answer I found was this. He didn't marry me. He married peace in his family. And if that meant sacrificing me to his father's bitterness, so be it. I was living with a man and a ghost. One who hurt me with words. The other who hurt me with silence. And I was slowly dying between them. I cried, I planned, I dreamed of living. But with no money, no backup, and no home. Where can I go? There's a kind of pain that doesn't scream anymore. It just sits quietly inside you, heavy like wet clothes on a cold day. That's how I felt, weighed down, soaked in regret and helplessness. I've cried in the bathroom with the tap running so no one would hear. I've stared at the ceiling in the dark, thinking, maybe tomorrow I'll pack my things and leave. But leave to where? Back to my father's house. The same house where my sister already returned after her failed marriage. The same father whose eyes would carry the weight of double disappointment if I came back. No. That option wasn't just shameful, it was impossible. I have no job. No savings. No plan. Even the clothes on my back feel like they belong to someone else now. I tried selling things online once just to save a little on the side. He found out and asked why I needed my own money when we were one. I didn't know how to answer without crying. So I stopped. I used to dream big, beautiful dreams. Of a shop. A brand. A life that was mine. But now, I dream of silence. Of a day when I don't have to hear his sister's voice barking in my ears. Of a morning when his father isn't insulting my lineage. Of one moment of freedom, even if it's small. Sometimes I catch myself standing by the window, looking out like a prisoner. I imagine walking out the gate and not turning back. Just walking. But reality pulls me back. To the baby in the next room. To the empty wallet in my purse. To the fear of sleeping under a bridge. This isn't just a bad marriage. This is a trap. A soft, suffocating prison wrapped in culture, shame, and survival. I'm not stupid. I know this isn't love. But what do you do when you can't afford to escape? I'm still here. Not because I want to be. But because I have nowhere else to go. I am the woman with no escape. And somehow, I still wake up every morning, trying to survive one more day. Why I'm telling my story? Not for pity. Not for attention. But for every woman who's silently dying in a marriage. I almost didn't tell this story. For years, I mastered the art of silence, wearing smiles like armor and posting happy pictures just to survive the next hour. But silence is not strength. Not always. Sometimes silence is slow death. I've cried into pillows soaked with secrets. I've smiled at church while bleeding inside. I've lied to my own friends just to avoid the shame of admitting that my life is not what it looks like. But now, I'm done pretending. I'm telling my story because there's a woman reading this, maybe you, who's living exactly what I'm living. Maybe you have no money. No backup. Maybe your husband's family has moved into your home and your heart has quietly packed its bags and left long ago. Maybe you're drowning in a place people call marriage. I'm not sharing this for pity. I don't want anyone's sorry. I'm not broken, I'm waking up. I'm sharing this so you know you're not alone. Because for every one of us forced into silence by shame, fear, or tradition, there's 1,000 others screaming inside and dying slowly. This is for us. For the women who were taught that endurance is love. For the ones whose fathers told them to just manage it. For the ones who were told, marriage is not easy, when they cried for help. I don't have it all figured out. I'm still here. Still fighting. Still looking for a way out. Still praying for the day I can wake up and breathe. But I'm no longer silent. This voice. It might tremble. It might crack. But it will no longer be buried. I'm telling this story so someone, somewhere, finds the courage to speak. Because silence has taken too many of us already. And I refuse to be next.